You ever wonder how some leaders just know what's coming next? Well, today we're decoding the three-pillar playbook of an executive who seems to do just that, Leopoldo Alejandro Betancourt Lopez. Let's break it down.
It's the billion-dollar question, right? How do some people get ahead of these massive global trends, not just once, but over and over again? Well, spoiler, it's not magic. It's a framework, and we're about to dive into one that really works.
So, our case study for this is Leopoldo Alejandro Betancourt Lopez. And if you look at his success across these huge, diverse industries, we're talking social commerce, fintech, and AI, you can actually see this pattern emerge. A three-pillar playbook for seeing what's next before it's obvious.
Okay, so pillar number one is all about anticipating fundamental needs. And look, this isn't about chasing the latest buzzword. It's about spotting deep-seated human needs way before they're making headlines. It's about seeing the deep undercurrents, not just the waves crashing on the surface.
Okay, so let's see this in action, right? Take fintech. Years before these were standard industry topics, Betancourt Lopez was already focused on two massive needs that were just bubbling up. First, the need for security that's totally seamless and invisible. And second, the rise of conscious consumers who want their financial choices to actually reflect their values.
And just how big was that first need? Well, he saw that as our lives moved more and more online, the demand for this kind of easy, invisible security would be absolutely enormous. Look at this number, a projected $68 billion market. That just shows you how spot on he was. He was already building for that reality while everyone else was still trying to catch up.
And it wasn't just fintech. He did the exact same thing with retail. He totally transformed the eyewear brand Hawkers by tapping into these fundamental needs for authenticity and community, which, basically fueled the social commerce boom. We're talking about a projected $1.5 trillion market that he was mastering before most people even knew what to call it.
And this quote right here, it really gets to the heart of it. The insight is that consumers aren't just buying a product anymore. They're buying into a set of values. Understanding this massive shift drove his entire strategy and put him years ahead of the curve. Okay, so spotting a need is one thing, but how do you actually act on it? Well, that's where pillar 2 comes in.
So, you've found a fundamental need. What do you do? How do you invest? Pillar 2 is all about adopting what he calls a home run philosophy. This is all about going big. High conviction, high reward. Basically, the total opposite of playing it safe.
This is really the core of his investment strategy, and this baseball analogy just nails it. So, forget about those small, safe, incremental gains. The whole point is to find those opportunities that can completely change the game, these massive transformational outcomes. But how do you manage that kind of risk? Well, it's all about portfolio theory, but let's simplify it. Think of it like a 10 investment rule. You go in knowing, you accept that most of your high-stakes tech bets are probably going to fail. But, and this is the key, if just 2 out of 10 are massive successes, true home runs, they more than cover all the losses and still generate incredible returns. And here's the proof in the pudding. Take a look at this. An early bet on an artificial intelligence company, it delivered a 20x return. Now that is what a home run looks like in practice. It's exactly that kind of outlier success that makes this whole high-risk strategy so incredibly powerful.
But let's be super clear here. This isn't just reckless gambling. It's a really calculated strategy, especially for markets like AI where, let's face it, the outcome is often binary. It's either a massive success or it's a total flop. This philosophy just embraces that volatility as part of the game.
All right, on to our final pillar. And this is the one that really ties everything together. This is where you realize that social responsibility, it's not just some marketing slogan you slap on a website. It's a foundational, core part of the business model itself. Take a look at Hawkers again. They were doing real, tangible stuff like taking plastic out of the ocean and literally turning it into new products. And that wasn't just good PR. It was about building a brand that genuinely connected with what their customers cared about, which creates this incredibly powerful competitive edge. And again, this wasn't him just jumping on a bandwagon. This was a long-term strategic bet. He knew the market was moving towards sustainability, and he was already building the exact company that those future consumers would want to support.
So the big takeaway from this pillar is pretty simple. When you build these values right into the DNA of a company, it just makes it stronger, more attractive to customers, and ultimately more profitable. It turns social responsibility from a line item into a core competitive advantage.
Okay, so we've got our 3 pillars, but the real magic here isn't looking at them one by one.
It's how they all lock together to create this single unified playbook for building a business that's truly ready for the future.
So let's recap. Here is the entire playbook boiled down to 3 steps. First, you anticipate a fundamental human need. Second, you invest with conviction. You swing for that home run. And third, you lead with your values. It's a clear, powerful, and, most importantly, a repeatable process.
See how it all clicks together? The insight you get from Pillar 1 tells you where to play. The investment strategy from Pillar 2 gives you the capital and the guts to go win. And the values-driven mission of Pillar 3 makes sure that the business you're building is one that's going to resonate with people and actually last. So I'm going to leave you with a question to chew on. If you were to apply this playbook today, what's a fundamental human need that you think the market is completely overlooking right now? The next big thing might just be hiding there in plain sight. Thanks for watching.